Okay, it's time I call this regular meeting of the Port Lavaca City Council to order on this Monday, May 13th, 2024 at 6:32 p.m. I'd ask everyone to please rise. Ask Jim Ward if he would deliver us an invocation.
Sure. Let's pray. Father, we just come before you now with humble hearts. Thank you, Lord, for this nation. Thank you for our military. Ask that you protect them. Be with our leaders in Washington, Austin, and local. Lord, let the decisions that we make be in accordance with your will and under the direction and guidance of your Holy Spirit. Ask that you be with us this evening. Pray for the citizens of the city of Port Lavaca and Calhoun County and the surrounding areas. And we pray all this, Father, in Jesus Christ's name and for his sake. And we give you the praise and honor and glory, Father. And I thank you for hearing our prayer. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledges of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
the Texas flag, honor the Texas
Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right, our first order of business today is to present several proclamations. But the first I'm going to present is Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month proclamation, which is one we do annually. And we always have great support from the motorcycle enthusiasts of our area. So let me begin the proclamation. Whereas May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month and the U.S. Department of Transportation's National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reminds us that vehicle drivers and motorists drive safe and provide safe driving and riding practices and cooperation from all road users that will help reduce the number of fatalities and injuries on our nation's highways. And whereas it is the responsibility of all who put themselves behind the wheel to become aware of motorcycles, regarding them with the same respect as any other vehicle traveling the highways of this country. And it is the responsibility of riders and motorists alike to obey traffic laws and safety rules. And whereas the safe operation of a motorcycle requires training, good judgment, and thorough knowledge of traffic laws and licensing requirements. And whereas it is important to recognize the need for awareness on the part of all drivers, especially with regard to sharing the road with motorcycles, and to honor the many contributions that motorcyclists make to the communities in which they live and ride. And whereas it is especially important that the citizens of Port Lavaca recognize the importance of motorcycle safety. Now, therefore, I, Jack Whitlow, Mayor of the City of Port Lavaca, do hereby proclaim that the month of May shall be Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month in the City of Port Lavaca. And I urge all citizens to join with me, our council, our employees of the city to do their part to increase safety and awareness in our community. Witness my hand and the great seal of the City of Port Lavaca, this the 13th day of May, 2024. And I'd like to present this. We have here with one of the motorcycle groups that wants to accept the proclamation. Yes, sir. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Always a great pleasure every year to have the Calaveras Motorcycle Group here to accept the proclamation for Motorcycle Awareness Week. They do a lot of good for our community. All right, we have one more proclamation, actually two more proclamations. This one is for National Public Works Week.
Oh, National Police Week is next.
Huh?
Oh,
Does it matter?
No, it doesn't.
I'm gonna get Wayne out of the way.
Okay.
Line marker.
All right.
Okay, National Public Works Week. Whereas National Public Works Week is celebrated annually to recognize the significant impact of public works in our daily lives. And whereas it has been demonstrated that public works provides critical response capabilities, experience, and support to all levels of government and town agencies in times of natural and man-made disasters. And whereas public works professionals play a vital role in our community by planning, building, managing, and operating essential infrastructure, including examples such as road maintenance, ensuring safe and efficient transportation networks, water services, providing clean water, and many other infrastructure projects. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th anniversary of National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canada Public Works Association. Now therefore, I, Jack Whitlow, Mayor of the City of Port Lavaca, by virtue of the power vested in me, do hereby declare and proclaim that the week of May 19th to the 25th, 2024 shall be designated as National Public Works Week in the City of Port Lavaca. And I call upon and encourage all our citizens to join with the representatives of American Public Works Association agencies and activities, events, ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. Witness my hand in the great seal of the City of Port Lavaca, this the 13th day of May, 2024. I'll present this to Wayne Schaefer, our Public Works Director. And Wayne, I want you to tell the public what you have planned for the week. You have some great programs coming.
To kick off the week, this Friday, we're doing the citywide cleanup. Bring your debris to us and we'll unload you and dispose of it. And then Saturday, the 25th, we're going to have our third show and tell where the public can bring their children and visit our booths, play on the equipment, just get to meet all the public works people that work, serve the city.
And that'll be at Bayfront Park.
Yeah, Bayfront Peninsula Park.
What's that?
8 to 2.
Let's see one of the trucks for this. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Thank you for.
Last, far from least, we have a proclamation recognizing National Police Week. Whereas we recognize and honor the selfless and heroic services provided by the men and women of the City of Port Lavaca Police Department. And whereas every day police officers pin on their shields and walk out the door, rush into harm's way, keeping the rest of us safe. And whereas during Police Week, we recognize the incredible courage of our nation's police officers and honor the fallen heroes whose ultimate sacrifice we can never repay. And whereas this year we also honor our nation's law enforcement families who serve and sacrifice along with their loved ones. Whereas it is fitting and proper that we express our gratitude for the dedicated service and courageous deeds of our Port Lavaca Police Department officers for the contributions they have made to the security and well-being of our community. Now, therefore, I, Jack Whitlow, Mayor of the City of Port Lavaca, do hereby proclaim that the week of May 12th through the 18th shall be National Police Week in the city of Port Lavaca. And I urge all citizens to join with me, our council, our staff, and employees to do their part to increase safety and awareness in our community. Witness my hand in the great seal of the city of Port Lavaca this 13th day of May, 2024. Colin, Police Chief, you want to come up and accept this?
We had more, but the weather.
And I'm not
Doing duties.
Programs that's going to need to do a lot for us.
On three. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Thank you. We appreciate Colin, you and Eric being here. I know the other officers were very busy today and are probably still busy from that storm we had. So we appreciate you being here. At this time, I will ask if we have any comments from the public. We have one person has signed in, but they're also on an agenda item and I think they're going to wait till we call the agenda item. They can speak longer. Okay, seeing none here to speak before council. We will then move on to our consent agenda, which consists of the minutes of the April 8th, 2024 regular meeting, minutes of the April 20.
Somebody online wants to speak perhaps?
Oh, was that it?
Yes, I would.
Okay, sorry, I missed you.
It's okay. I am, due to the weather, I'm sorry that I couldn't be there in person, but I just wanted to introduce myself. I am the general manager for Sparklight. I am took this position over in August. And I just wanted to come on here and just let each of you know that we're there. Once the electricity comes back up, we'll be out there, getting everybody back online and their internet working properly. We are having an instant install event on Wednesday where we will set up outside of our old office, but we will be there offering hot dogs and chips and drinks to anybody that would like to come out and just show up for a free hot dog. But other than that, if you have anything, whenever I'm over there on Wednesday, I'll come by and bring out over my business card so you can reach out to me directly if you have any concerns.
What was your name again?
And my name is Shanda Hartnett.
HARTNETT.
HARTNETT. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We
It was nice
appreciate it.
meeting each of you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is nobody else going to sneak up on us? Is that everybody? Lorena?
Yes.
Okay,
Your dog.
okay.
That's somebody else, Loretta?
No, she just came in, but.
Okay.
Okay.
There it is.
Yes, Jack, I'd like to provide a map out of the consent. Agenda. I'd like to provide a map out of the consent agenda.
SHAND.
We're just discussing, we could do the consent agenda towards the end of our program. Since Ken Barr isn't here, we could go through the election process and install our new. Awesome. All right. That way he could have a say. All right. For that brief discussion, I think we are going to move the consent agenda to later in our agenda and move on to our election returns and installation of officers so that we have a full board up here on council. And we'll begin with action item number 1 to canvass the returns of the May 4, 2024 City of Port Lavaca General Officers Election. Appointed Daniel Aguirre and Alan Tippett as canvassing board. Had you all reviewed the numbers and approved the official canvass?
Yes, we have.
Yes, I have.
Is everything correct?
Everything appears to be correct. You want me to go ahead and read okay, early voting, May 4th, 2024. Ken Barr, 25. And then Mr. Justin Burke, 78. For that.
No action is necessary from council. I will.
Then May 4th, 2024, election day voting. Correct? Mr. Barr, 5, and Mr. Justin Burke, 45. And then I don't have it.
So total votes.
The total votes counted were 153.
103,
103 for
early voter.
early voting and 50 votes on election day. And then the total votes for Mr. Ken Barr were 30. And total votes for Mr. Justin Burke were 123.
That's correct.
We have canvassed the election and I will sign the documents authorizing the canvass.
Sounds like we have a new council person.
Almost. Secretary, on to our next step. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 2, consider resolution number R-051324-1E, certifying the May 4th, 2024 general election returns and declaring the candidates elected. We have to go office by office or just do it all at once?
No, it can be, all at once. I don't have to have individual.
You don't need a motion, do we?
Do need a motion on.
Make a motion that we certify the general election return. Second.
And approve the resolution just stated.
Yes.
And approve the resolution number R-051324-1E.
So we have a motion and a second approving resolution number R-051324-1E. Certifying the May 4th, 2024 general election returns and declaring the candidates elected. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. None opposed, motion passes. Okay, congratulations, Destin. Still not there. At this time, we'll move to agenda item number 3 to administer the oaths of office and issue certificates of election to newly elected officials of the Port Lavaca City Council, to wit, Jack Whitlow, Mayor, to serve a new term of 2 years, Tim Dent, representing District 2, Justin Burke, representing District 6, to each serve a term of 3 years. Mandy, you want to present the certificates and those?
I've got it here in your. Mr. Burke, if you will. Come join us, do we want to do this, do y'all want to do or do y'all want to do inside the,
That's fine.
You have to go down up front anyway with their.
I was just gonna put it in those.
DJ would be upset if we don't go up front for a picture.
Okay. You want to do it down here?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna eventually be down here for.
Yeah, you gotta walk back around.
Yeah. This is- I don't know who designed this.
It's a one-way deal.
Want me to sign that?
No, yeah, well,
Eventually.
once you do your, that's okay.
I just swore by signing.
Okay. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's just take it down there, inside. See, this is just, I'll give it to you in.
Justin, paper.
Okay. Probably, how about if we just go?
Yeah, he's on vacation.
right up and there?
Oh, okay.
You gotta go sign and then it's. You, Justin. Yeah,
That's why we're.
it's gonna be for you to sign. I'll put this back. There, this will be for you to sign, okay? After you get you- no, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Take it forward, then.
After you sign.
Excuse me.
This, okay, this one's
She gave it
yours.
to me. Okay.
Okay,
I get sworn at.
yeah, let's get sworn in first. All right, you please raise your right hand. Okay, this is the statement of elected appointed officer. Okay, when I point to you, just say your name, please. I
Tim Dan.
Jack Whitlow.
Justin Burke.
do solemnly swear or affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment for the given or withholding of a vote at the election at which I was elected. Under penalties of perjury, I declare that I have read the foregoing statement and that the facts stated therein are true.
That's right.
I do.
There you may sign the statement, and then it's the officer. You're gonna have the other one.
I keep on.
Yeah, you got a second one. Everything in that folder is yours to keep,
There's 3 in here.
and that's your,
It's 4.
yes. What do I have here? What do I have two? Okay, this one can be mine. Did you sign both of them?
No, I want to sign 1.
Okay, sign, wait a minute.
It's not my hand.
Sign both of them.
Okay.
Keep one and y'all keep one.
We done this before?
There. You've got one sign. And
Yours. You can have.
those, the others will be yours to keep.
like 4.
And your certificate of election is also in your folder. Wonderful. All right.
Got our oath.
Okay, raise your right hand, please. Okay. This is your oath of office. I
Tim Dan.
Jack Whitlow.
Justin Burke.
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Mayor,
Councilperson
Councilman
District 2.
District 2, Councilman
Councilperson
District
District
6. Very good. For the city of Port Lavaca, state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
That's right. So swear. Swear.
Good. You will sign both of them and give me one. This one. Another one in here. Yeah. Give me one or two.
First 2.
Very good. Let me just. All right, well. Okay, your certificate of election, you key.
That's too busy.
Congratulations, Mr. Burke. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, spark like, I didn't hear it though. Wait, it's just there. There.
You did that on purpose, I heard.
I'm surprised.
Get in there?
A gift from Mr. Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
We are at the agenda item number 4. We are going to postpone on 4 so that we can get into our public hearing. And so we're moving to agenda item number 5, to conduct a public hearing in accordance with the Port Lavaca Code of Ordinances, Chapter 12, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 4, Substandard Buildings, 12 to 291, Notice A and B. The following property listed: 126 East Main, 138 East Main, 223 East Main, and 1406 Highway 35 South. 6:58 PM, we will begin the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on why these properties should or should not be declared substandard? This is your time to speak.
Mayor and council, in your packet, I had the memo, inspections from Bureau Veritas and pictures are included. I did pass out a current picture of 126 East Main, which is case number 112. As you can see, he's done a lot of cleanup on the inside. He's removed most of the roofing material that's collapsed. So he's been working on that pretty hard to get that cleaned up. It looks like looking at it from the inside and outside, it looks like the walls are in good shape. They share a common wall with on one side. But anyway, after looking at it, it looks like the walls are in good condition. You can see in the pictures some of the big some of it that I showed. I didn't want to send y'all too many pictures, but the property owner is here. Doing up here and still what your plans are and
Well, my plans are to fix it up and put the roof back to the property. Because the walls are pretty solid, so I don't wanna demolish the whole building. The only bad about that building is the roof. It was in really bad shape. So, but the roof is completely gone already.
do you have a time frame on when you're gonna be starting on that?
Right now, I just started tearing out the
Right.
roof and cleaning out.
I mean, 3 months, 6 months,
Close to a year, probably,
a year?
yeah.
Darren, has he reached any written agreement with you, or done anything on his property with you? Has he reached a written agreement with you on any plans for his property?
No, sir. He was removing all the debris from the roof and he's looking at his options on, if he's gonna go with a flat roof or what type of roofing system he's gonna use. That's all I know right now.
Their options are either to declare it substandard, or we can postpone, and if you have an agreement with him, we can wait. If he doesn't comply with the agreement, declare it later. Depends on what you would recommend. If you're working with him, we might be
I
able
think
to.
that he's made a diligent effort on cleaning up the property, and like I said, the structure seems to be sound, but at least he's making an effort to clean it. And it looks like he is planning on doing the repairs on the roof to get it back to a good condition to be utilized again.
So do you want it to be declared substandard or not at this hearing?
I think we can hold off on it, until
Bottom line.
the agreement, if that's okay with the agreement.
Well, I don't wanna tear the whole building.
No.
Right, no, building about what your plans moving,
Yeah, if you have a detailed plan that you could provide to me,
even if it's a handwritten paper, you
right?
know.
Yeah, just provide me with a detailed plan in the next day or two. And I'll take that and we'll just see if you proceed to carry out those the improvements, then you know, that you move forward with it.
So he's not asking it to be declared substandard tonight. They'll postpone that and work with you.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Which address was that, Derek?
It was 26.
Case 112, the first one.
Does this building have to have a roof to be, I mean, the walls are solid?
Well, he's not asking it to be declared anymore. Now that,
No, I'm just asking, in the future, if it gets to the point where,
no, you'd have to show that it's structurally not sound.
well, the walls seem to, we could have a check, but the walls look very structurally sound.
Right.
So.
That can be misleading.
Even considered,
That can be misleading as one that is gonna come up next.
Yeah.
It's gonna be misleading.
Yeah, there is that on the back.
yeah, but if it's structured, the walls are structurally sound, how could we even consider calling it substandard?
It depends if all the walls are and there's an addition. I think right now, no. But if we had more information that say the back part was in danger of, it wasn't the same.
Well, I guess what I'm getting to is, why does the man have to come up with an agreement to do anything if the walls are sound?
Well, he does have a back addition that's in bad condition, but he's planning on restoring it as well. And it's not safe, but he is planning on redoing it. So in the written agreement, I'll address that as well to make sure that he gets that up to code.
Okay.
But again, I mean, as we know, that middle wall, for example, on Main Street in Claudette, wall went down. So just be, the wall.
Does it look-
Standing by itself without any lateral support, it may not be structural.
It can fall in.
Is this the back of this you're talking about back over here?
Yes.
No, I'm not an engineer. I wouldn't know if that's
Right.
sound or not.
Okay.
That's what we got.
I think
about 3 bars.
I think Derek had presented it as the building being, the structure being sound. And I thought, okay, the structure's sound.
Well, the front building.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Walls, they're brick walls.
That's good clarification. I mean, we want to do what's right, but we want to do it right. So, I mean, we need to provide some leeway for these people.
Derek, is there anything temporarily that he might have to do to keep it from getting any worse?
Not at this time that I can see. He's gonna keep cleaning it up and getting all the debris out of it. And then he was talking about, like I said, there's a lot of improvements that need to be made on that condition. It's in really bad shape.
I think there needs to be an agreement with a time.
Right. So that's what I asked him about when he's planning on doing the roof. And we'll talk about the back condition as well.
But it's closed up where people can't walk in there right now.
It is secure.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next case is 113. It's 138 East Main. Let's see.
Corner building across the street from the Green Iguana,
Yes.
Oh, that 2-story building?
the gray one.
Yeah.
Yes. And the property owner, he's not here today, but he did contact me today. And he said due to COVID and all that, it caused a financial burden, so that's why he hadn't proceeded with the improvements on the building. He is planning on securing the building within 2 weeks. And he said that he's planning on putting the windows in within the next 6 months, but he said he's also gonna board up the windows and that will keep it protected from the weather.
It was open when I went by there a couple of weeks ago, but somebody looked like they'd been inside the building.
Right, yeah, that's what I told him. We need to make sure to keep agents out.
That's a good.
Right. There's one window just on the first floor too, that people can get in and out. But he did tell me that, back when he was doing all the remodeling, that, he'd actually put in a sprinkler system and it's been inspected. And everything good to go. So he's put a lot of money into the property.
Expensive.
Yeah. And he is talking about, he is asked, I'm gonna be sending him some information on the facade grant. Tomorrow, he is interested in that.
If you recall, he was approved for one back in 2016, I think, but he didn't finish it. And I told him, well, we have to start over.
Yeah, I told him I'd like to reapply for it. But, also, he did say that to get some extra revenue, he was gonna go ahead and try to start working on the first floor to get it rented out. I'm not for sure how, what the time frame on that, but,
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Rent it out for business?
he says there's a company that's interested in renting that property. That's getting big.
So Derek, how do you determine like that that's structurally sound?
What do you mean? As far as.
Well,
That's
from a very good source of mine, the owner told that person that they weren't gonna put any more money into it because the wall was leaning.
I know there's foundation issues with that property. And first thing that I'm gonna do whenever he starts working on improvements is I need to get an engineer approval that it is structurally sound.
Okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah. And I didn't want to crawl through the window to look through.
No.
Yeah, I just took pictures of the outside.
Mr. Banks got approval, he had an engineer look at it. They declared, when he first bought it, it was declared structural sound.
So we have that report.
Okay,
Well, this was recent, like in the past month,
Right, but now.
like in the past 2 weeks.
yeah.
So the recommendation is declare this one.
Yes, I'd say so, especially since it's not secure for right now. It does not meet the, standards. I do want to make sure that he does get it at least secured right now and then start working on the improvements to the rest of it probably in.
So recall that declaring it substandard also allows the city to go in and secure it
Yes, if we need.
because there have been vagrants living in it and so forth. So it allows the city to also not only tear it down, but it allows the city to lean it, to secure it if he can give him a time frame to come secure it. And if it's not secured, the city can secure it.
What kind of time frame?
But he told me within 2 weeks, the first floor is gonna be secured. And he said he wasn't able to come down, this meeting, but that's what he told me over the phone today.
But within those 2 weeks, somebody's gonna have to go over and secure it.
Well, if he doesn't do it within that time frame, I'm gonna say, we're gonna secure it and,
You're gonna wait a couple of weeks.
yeah, I'll give them the 2 weeks to get it secured. Make sure there's no vagrants in there before he secures it.
Are we also asking for an engineering report, or are we just trying to secure it from?
For right now, I wanna make sure it's secure to keep people out of it.
So on the inspection report, it says BVNA represents the services, da, da, da. Does BVNA have anything to do with these inspections?
Yeah, Bureau Veritas is the one that did the inspection.
It says, it's got your name on it. Security, who did the inspection?
My name.
Byron Smith's
Byron's-
there.
Oh, Byron Smith. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
He used to work for the city.
Yeah, and I used to work with him, so.
This is Derek. Two Smiths.
So, yeah, and I'll make sure he gets it secured, to a timeframe. But yeah, I'd like to have that one declared some standard, so we can proceed with doing it if he does.
Mr. Banks was he was the Associated Home Builder for Redfish Retreat before the housing market collapsed in 2010.
Yeah.
And everywhere he works with the company, he buys a building in the town. He stores it. And as soon as he did that, the market collapsed and Redfish Retreat slowed down and he wasn't able to build any building, but he did keep working on this building for a little bit. he said Hurricane Harvey and COVID hitting in between.
Okay, case number 114. The address is 233 East Main. Included in the packet is the inspection report.
33, I mean, it's 233 or 220?
223.
223. And it,
223.
I know, but the.
It says 223.
On the what, I'm sorry?
The inspection report says 233 and then.
It says 223.
The agenda item?
Your
Oh.
motion says 230.
Yeah, my memo is 233, I'm sorry.
So are we talking about 233?
233. 223. It's the building that's right next to that little courtyard area.
Thank you, Derek.
I think Jen,
And the property owner that's
She's here.
she wants to.
you wanna,
First of all, I'm Jan Reagan, for those of you who haven't met. And this building, is, let's see. 1905, my grandfather was a merchandise business. And he was on what was then Main Street, which is now Austin Street. And all the businesses, houses were all wood frame on that street. Grandpa wanted to build a brick building for his business. And the people who owned all the houses wouldn't let him. And so that's when he bought the property on the railroad track, backs up to the railroad track. The new Main Street was formed, and so that's sort of the history of that building. It was built in 1905, so it's 100 or some odd years old. I replaced 2 roofs on this building. Every time a hurricane comes through, it peels it off. And so I did not replace the roof with this thing. And I can't really afford it. So I had talked to the city manager and told her that I wanted to donate the building to the city so that the city could apply for grants or get grant works to work, to, as a nonprofit to repair the building to preserve it. And so I asked Russell to come to address that part of the issue, if y'all don't mind.
Thank you.
That building was attached to the original First National Bank building, which was newer to it. Above the Regan dry goods store, second story was the Masonic Lodge, which is beautiful woodwork. It looks like an old courtroom. Beautiful oak molding all through it. So it's a nice building.
When we dedicated that park to Faye Bauer Sterling, we uncovered that mural, and we had the sheriff and the workers from the jail came over there and helped us take all that off, and we found that mural under that's been there. It was in 1992, so it was there like 90 years. And Jan is willing to give this building to the city, and she wants y'all to secure a grant and name it the Regan Building. And she'd like to have an office in there for as long as she lives. And she wants to see something done with the building and not torn down. If it has to come to that, well, so be it. But we don't really, there's so many buildings that we want to preserve our historic buildings here in this town. We don't want them torn down.
I mean, I've seen pictures of the old courthouse. And we go through all these towns going through Texas and we see how they've redone their courthouse. And that would have been really nice to have something like that here, but that's the way it was back then. These people that have all these buildings on Main Street, I've dealt with every one of them. And I can tell you all the history in every building, just about. And, the main thing, I mean, we still have our active Main Street committee and we want to preserve our buildings. We don't want them torn down. But, I have been able to secure grants when we secured the theater. And Monese Madden, Ted Wilson, and Faye Sterling, I mean, this went on for a good 3 years. And because we had the $5 and $10 support, that's why the Meadows Foundation gave us the grant. And so there's no reason why we can't do the same thing with this building. And I would ask that y'all accept Jan's gift to the city and try to continue to restore this building rather than have it torn down. And, that young man, Kenny Banks, I met him, I've dealt with him. He will do what he said he would do. And if he's not ill, he'll complete the job. And that young man that had the building on 126, I sold him that building. And he and his brother, they're very hard workers. And they want something to happen on Main Street, just like all of us do.
Right.
So, anyway, I don't want to keep parts on. Thank y'all.
So is that now, has the date moved up or are we talking January 1st of 25?
Up to the city, I can give it to you all.
She's ready to give it to you now.
Okay, so, I mean, if she wants to donate it, you know, she can have it appraised and all that kind of stuff for a tax deduction if she needs that, or for the company or whatever. But I was just asking because I'd been told January 1st, 2025, so we're gonna have to work through
That was when I was intended. Y'all are gonna insist that we do. I did. Also tax.
it.
So can we have an agenda item for the donation another night? That's not tonight. So tonight is just the condemnation. or not.
Whether we're
So-
gonna declare it substandard.
Yeah.
Derek, would you recommend that we not declare that building substandard and work? Donation from the landowner?
Yeah, that's what the council wishes, sure, yes.
Where's the substandard part though? Is it secured?
Yes, it's secured right now.
Okay, so it's not vagrant occupied.
No,
Well, that's a very generous offer. Thank you, Ms. Reagan.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
If you get with Jody, we can put this on an agenda sometime. We do it next month, or we can do it in December. Whenever you feel best. One more?
so, yeah, that's it, yeah, my recommendation is just, we'll just let that, I guess, wait and see what happens with the donation.
What's item D? We have another
So
item.
the only, yeah, so the only one we got, case number 115. It's 1406 Highway 35 South. Council may be aware of that one, caught on fire, last year. I found out a couple of months ago, or 2 months ago or so, that, fire inspection, everything was completed. So I sent notice to the property owner. It came back unclaimed, for the hearing tonight. The house is pretty much destroyed, and with the pictures, you can see that it's in violation of chapter 20 of our code of ordinances with the accumulation of junk on the property as well. And I definitely would recommend to have this one declared substandard and I believe state allows it's minimum of 30 days for them to, and if not, then the city can go ahead and go out for bids for demolition, cleaning up the property completely.
So just to let y'all know, this is involved in an estate. However, the estate is clear who the two or three heirs are. I think it's two heirs. And there hasn't been anything filed in the estate. The son of the decedent is living in town somewhere, one of the RV parks that I can find. And I think the daughter lives not in town. She
Yeah,
lives
I heard
away.
that is, and I couldn't get an actual address for her.
And so I don't think we'll probably ever be able to reach them, but it's clear the property needs to be cleared up. And the lien, it's not a homestead because the person's deceased. And any lien, certainly they will probably even get proceeds if that property is cleaned up and sold. They can never find them.
I have been called about the property itself because the people that live next door nearby are concerned about the fact of rodents and the fact that wind or storms or whatever. They're a little uneasy about it and suggested that maybe we do something. So.
Right. Yeah, and what can happen if the council does declare it substandard and give them a minimum of 30 days. I'll send the notice out to them stating that I'll post it on the property since it came back unclaimed as well. And then they have 10 days to appeal after tonight. If they don't appeal, then after the 30 days, we can go ahead and proceed with getting the bids for demolition.
It's also put in the property records that it has been declared substandard so that there's not any other people that can come in and try to claim it.
No action on this item, we can move on.
After the public hearing, I think we're requesting action for it to be declared substandard and given 30 days.
Right.
That's on item 6, though, right?
You're still recommending on item B, 138 East Kenny Banks building.
Mhm, so you
Yes.
can secure it.
Secured. Yes, sir.
You want to go ahead and declare that one substandard, or do you want to contact Mr. Banks?
Declare it substandard and work
I'll
with
send
it.
a notice stating that, and I'll talk to them tomorrow.
That's just so if he doesn't get it secured.
That's right.
That's your recommendation.
Yes.
Move on to agenda item, excuse me. This time I will declare the public hearing closed at 7:24 p.m. Now we will move on to agenda item number 6. Consider finding that the following properties listed located in the city of Port Lavaca, Texas, are in violation of the city of Port Lavaca Code of Ordinances, Chapter 12, and Building Regulations, Article 4, Substandard Building, following a public hearing held on this day, May 13th, 2024.
Make a motion that we declare items B and D as substandard and give the owners 30 days to respond back to the city. Second.
30, no, that's not the rule. Okay, so my recommendation is 30 days on the one. But on the other one, you probably want to give to 60 days because it's a time period for them to clean it up or we demolish.
And D.
Which is which? Yeah, one and the other.
So 30 days on item B and 60 days on item D.
The other way
30
around.
days for D.
The other way around.
30 days?
That's the minimum state.
That's the one where we're not gonna ever be able to reach the one needs to be cleaned up.
Do that as soon as possible. On B, Mr. Banks will probably, once he contacts him, make him
To
in.
get it secured and then to get it cleaned up.
We want the option to do it to keep the vagrants from living downtown.
Okay, so B is 30 days.
No,
60 days.
60 or 90, whatever y'all prefer.
Mr. Banks.
yeah, I think, yeah, I would give at least 90.
And the,
90 on
Can they
B.
ask for an extension? Right?
yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's just do both at 30 days and he can ask for an extension.
Okay.
Motion stands.
Okay,
Second.
you have a motion. Rosie, you seconded?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second to declare 138 East Main substandard one and 1406 Highway 35 South as substandard, and to give the owners 30 days to respond,
To rectify
to rectify
the substandard nature.
the substandard nature.
Whether it be secure or.
It is the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? None opposed, motion passes. Okay. Keep moving. Agenda item number 7, receive the 2024 certified estimate net taxable value for the city of Port Lavaca from the Calhoun County Appraisal District as required by section 26.01E of the Texas Property Code to the governing bodies of the taxing units within. Mr. Paul.
Paul Spade.
Spade?
Yes, sir.
So new Jesse?
Paul Spade,
New Jesse. He's the new Jesse.
yeah, I'm new Jesse, although I don't want to, those aren't shoes I'm trying to fill necessarily. It still kind of sounds
You're the
weird.
current Paul.
I took over in March. Yeah, I wasn't nervous until Russell went to leave and leaned over and said, "Good luck." Thanks, I didn't need that. Okay, I assume that the council members have a copy of the certified estimate that was sent out to, that's something that we're required to send out every year to the entities that have a voting ability to put members on my board of directors. That's the city, the county, and the school district. So I sent that over to you guys. Now understand that April 30th is our deadline to do that. I haven't sent out all my notices by that point. I haven't gotten my information from from a lot of our P&A that does outside all the industrial stuff, things like that. Still haven't even come into me at that point. So the estimate is just that. Understand it's just an estimate. We're usually conservative on this estimate, knowing that there's still so much unknown at this point. So just understand that when you're seeing the estimate. The estimate does estimate about a 3.5% increase over last year. I expect that to be higher when it all gets said and done. But right now, the 3.5, I think is a safe number, given the information that we've seen. We mailed out about 19,000 notices so far. We still have some more that need to go out. We're still seeing the market increase. We're seeing some areas more on fire than others. Areas like Port O'Connor seem to still be on fire and blowing and going. Port Lavaca, we're seeing more of some consistent growth. We're seeing 6 and 7%. I think your market value this year went up about 6.5%, which is roughly kind of what we thought it was going to come in. Something that you guys are getting played with, a lot of the entities are. Anytime the legislature gives homestead caps, there's actually a new cap in place this year called the circuit breaker, which they just didn't want to call it a cap, which essentially is what it is. And that's on any property that's not a homestead. So if you've got a property, you own a piece of land somewhere and we appraise it, 30% higher than the year before. The taxes that you'll pay on will only be a 20% increase. You can imagine though, if your land is $10,000 and we raise it to 40, entities are going to be hampered by a lot of that capping. Just in that cap alone this year, you're losing about $3.5 million in taxable value that is value that we said should be there, but it's being capped. That increase is not allowing to be seen. The homestead cap is over $34 million in taxable value that's being held off because of the cap. And that's on any property that has a homestead, there's a 10% increase that's allowed on the taxable value every year. So a lot of stuff's being capped out there. A lot of value is going to continue to come on in future years. You guys got a long agenda. I don't want to bore you with every appraisal detail, but if you do have any questions specific, I don't mind answering those. If not, I'll go on we'll move to the next.
So I could not read my tax statement this year. I feel Well, I'm a little bit intelligent, but maybe not, because I could not read my tax, because it said appraised, market. And I was like, well, I know they have to charge me the market, but now that you're saying that, is that due to the, in the blue lines across? Because it says my value's this much, and then what I was charged was way less than that.
Yeah, you very likely, without knowing specifically the account, you very likely have a cap on your property. Yeah, this number right here. So this is what, this is the appraised value, essentially your market value. And you've got a $90,000 homestead cap on the property. So what you're actually going to pay taxes on is going to be the 326 number. So that's.
But on the statement, it said something about market, and it says, instead of saying appraised and exemptions or caps or whatever, it said market. And it was just really odd.
Yeah, and this should say there, I mean, the word market's not specifically in there. The word market is what do we think your property would sell for? The other is, and the state continues to add more and more things to the notice of appraised value, and it gets smaller and smaller. We're gonna have to start spending out magnifying glasses to be able to have everybody.
I could not understand it at all.
And they are very, especially if you have a cap, they do present a lot of confusion with that, but yeah, hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I think I
Is there still
understand that.
pressure on this county to get our assessed value higher than what it? They're a little conservative.
Yeah, the state did come in this past year and tell us that our property values are too low. Mainly that was on residential properties. The way in which they did that, what I believe is not a fair statistical analysis. Our assessment date is January 1st of every year. By the time I send out notices and close things off, that's usually about March. I'm done getting sales data because I got to close that door and I got to get things out the door. Well, the state came in and they used 35 sales that happened March and May and June. Well, after my assessment date, there's no way I could have had those sales to accurately assess an area. So when they do that, it shows me that there's more of an axe to grind. I think they have an agenda. We have more counties failed this year than have ever failed the property value study. And that seems to be every time the study comes out, we continue to say that more and more fail. But yes, they have told us that our values are low. And we have been trying to increase those with the data that we get. Obviously, Texas is a non-disclosure state. So we have to do lots of things to try to get sales information. One of those is now we can buy data from TransUnion. They will sell us information. They'll sell us sales, but it's $5,000 a shot to do that. And so how many ever, we usually request once a year and we get how many ever sales took place in a 1 or 2 year period, usually back assess it, or we usually backdate it to try to get as much data as we can that they might have missed in prior years. We usually get 400 sales or so over a 2 year period that they get us. So it's really good information. We know it's coming from MLS, so we know it's quality data, but it's just expensive to get that information. And because it's so expensive, we're restricted on how often we can get the data. But yes, the state has told us this past year that we were low on our property values.
And this new cap, or what you said was implemented this past year, how does it interact with the senior, the over 65?
Okay.
I mean, what's the overlay, or how does that work?
The new cap doesn't interact with that at all. There's still that existing homestead cap for any property that's a homestead. So the over 65 has to be tied to the homestead. So that's still the same as it has been. This is the new cap is there for anything that's not homesteaded, essentially, that's less than $5 million in value. So all the same benefits for the over 65 still are there, still in place, and they're actually getting the benefit of the 10% cap versus the 20% cap. The new cap.
State comes along and tells you, hey, your property values are too low, like Tim had said. What if you never comply? What are they gonna do?
That's a good question. If I don't comply long enough, I get fired. They can actually come in and take over the district. They can actually dictate to my board.
Oh, okay. So they can take over the.
Well, that's one of them. The state can actually come in and tell the board of directors.
I don't want that.
that you don't have any control here. The other thing and the more immediate problem is, because the property value study is tied to school funding, if we are low for long enough, they will start cutting what the state is giving to the school district. So as far as this board, you won't ever see any issues with us failing our property value study. The school board really starts calling me if we start failing the studies because they want to know how it's going to affect them. But the property value study is solely tied to the funding of the school district. So that's the teeth that it is the school.
Yeah, that'd be on you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's why they have the most votes.
And actually that's starting to, we'll get into a little bit on the budget side. But really with the new exemptions and I know it's not a school board meeting, but the new exemptions that have come into play, the overall school's taxable value and levy has actually decreased. So all of the other entities are seeing their piece of the pie get a little bigger as the school is getting a little bit smaller because we went from the $40,000 exemption to the $100,000 exemption, and they forced them to compress their tax rate further. So school districts are seeing their tax revenue decrease greatly, and therefore the other entities are seeing more of that burden shifted to them. Anytime you put an exemption in place, somebody else is picking up the bill regardless.
Thank you, Paul.
Any other questions?
Action necessary, or do we need to vote to receive?
No, I don't think there's. Sure, yes.
This is the report you sent us.
Yes, sir.
Your budget, how much is?
Item 8 would be the next one, the budget. He was talking about item 7, so now.
Okay. We have received the 2024 certified estimate of taxable value from the chief appraiser of Calhoun County Appraisal District, and we'll move to agenda item number 8 to receive the 2025 proposed budget from the Calhoun County Appraisal District as required by Section 6A of the Texas Property Code to the governing bodies of the taxing units within. And Paul Spate will present.
Kind of as with the other, this is still really early and preliminary. I met with my board last in April to present my proposed budget to them. The budget doesn't actually get voted on by my board until August. At that point, you will get a copy of the final budget. And if you disagree with that, the entities that have a power to vote for the appraisal district, you're being one of them, will have the ability to veto that if you just disagree with what's going on. The budget this year, and I'm not going to belabor this. If you have specific questions and want to go into it, we definitely can. My overall budget is only increasing about $3,500 from last year because we funded a lot of our events and things we were doing, new servers and things like that from our reserve funds for last year. So we funded a deficit budget for last year. So this year, we're not funding as many of those, but we are seeing an overall increase on what the entities are going to be paying. And so the overall, if you're looking at this, page 5 of that report right there will have that should be it right there.
Page 98.
Yeah, they're right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That just shows you the cost allocation, and I will say, had my budget not changed at all, the city's portion of our budget would still have increased because overall the school district's getting smaller. Think of it as a pie. 100% got to come from somewhere. So with the school decreasing, all the other entities are gonna have some sort of increase on the budget. Overall, what kind of things affected my budget had made me go up? Once again, the state. As I'm sure you have these wonderful unfunded mandates and websites and things that notices and things you have to do. When the legislature met in 2023, they came out with a whole bunch of fun things that we got to do that they didn't want to tie any funds to. So in my 24 budget, I had already had that passed and approved before we knew of some of these other things that were gonna have happened. So we're kind of, this budget is really reflecting a lot of those changes with different notification requirements, different websites that we have to have. There's a new website that we had to have for truth and taxation where people can log in. You saw all the little postcards that you got every year. You will not get those postcards anymore telling you to go to a website. This year you will, I'll put a posting in the newspaper, but we no longer have to send that out wonderfully, but we still have to have the website. We still have to have, and it's a website where all the entities can, and we take care of that for y'all. Y'all, once we get the tax rates calculated, we'll upload those into a website. We'll tell them what your proposed rate, when your meetings are, things like that. And it's one central website where people can go to be able to see what's going on with their tax rates for they can type in their account number and they'll be able to see specifically for their account, if you pass the highest rate you can, what's that going to do to their taxes? If you pass the effective, which essentially gives you the effective amount of money that you had last year, what's that going to do to your taxes? So things like that the legislature has put into place recently has definitely encouraged some of our increase. And coming in, I had some appraisal districts trying to steal some of my people before I came in there. And so I did some surveys to find out what was fair. And we weren't close to fair. So I wanted to make sure I kept some of my good people. So that's some of what the other increases are there. So if you have any specific questions about it, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you for your awesome website for us to all be able to use to see our properties and maps and owners, and it's very helpful.
Not all counties have that.
No, ma'am, they don't. And you know, that interactive map that you get to use and that has our pictometry images and things on there, all of that was extra stuff extra fees that we had to pay, but I know instantly if my website's down. Because I'm gonna get a call from every realtor in town. I'm gonna get a call from everybody going, your website's broken. And I'm like, I don't even do this. I mean, that's not, we have, in-office technology, so I'm never using the website, but I know if it's broken pretty quickly. So if something is not working properly, definitely let us know, because we may not know, because we don't use that website all the time.
It's excellent.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for what we pay for. Yeah, I'll say it with that. I hear, we go pretty quickly, who uses it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any action? We accept the proposed budget as presented. We will move on to.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you.
Move on to agenda item number 9. Consider resolution number R-051324-2 of the city of Port Lavaca for the approval and adoption of the updated Talon County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan, and approve that the adopted plan be submitted to the GLO, TDM, Texas Department of Emergency Management, and FEMA for the final review and approval. Jody?
Mayor, Council, we have been working with Talon County and their consultant that they hired in updating this hazard mitigation plan. And this is a resolution in your packet, basically approving the plan and submittal, as it says, to the agencies for their final review. So in a sense, it's a draft. Where councils will be approving it for the county to then submit it. FEMA and these other agencies will have an opportunity to review it. They may come back with some edits or changes that they suggest that will then be incorporated into the final draft, final plan. So we'll have an opportunity later on to look at this again. So in other words, if in looking at this, you see anything that you think ought to be changed, it's, there's still time. We did, circulate this through city staff. I think I had sent it out to the council at some time in the past, just for any, more eyes, if anybody had any input. So a lot of people have looked at this. This is county. It's not just the city of Port Lavaca, it's the county, our city, Seadrift, Point Comfort, all working together to put this plan together. So at this time, we're recommending council approve this resolution.
So moved.
Not ceding any authority to the World Health Organization, are we?
No, not that. Now, what I can further elaborate, the reason why we want this is if we want to submit at any time for hazard mitigation plan, that project that we submit has to be in this plan. Yeah. But that's also not to say that if for some reason we came up with some project that none of us thought about, and we later on say, man, we should have put it in that plan, we can still do it. You can go in and add, request an amendment to the plan, which is actually, what we ended up doing when we did the project for the generators for the lift stations. That was done with a hazard mitigation plan or grant. And at that time, they were not in a plan. We had to go in there and make an amendment to it. So it can happen, but we're trying to think outside the box and come up with all reasonable scenarios of things that we might want to use hazard mitigation funds for to incorporate it in this plan.
Also could have used it today with the nearby tornadoes. Have a motion, second. Approving resolution number R dash 051324-2 of the city of Port Lavaca. For approval and adoption of the updated Count County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Not opposed, motion passes. Right, let's move on to agenda item number 10. Consider resolution number R dash 051324-3 of the city of Port Lavaca to adopt a lawn library program for the purpose of providing residents with a city utility account membership access to borrow city-owned tools and equipment as needed to clean up their properties. For example, to mow grass, trim vegetation, etc. Derek?
Mayor and council, in your packet, you have the resolution. It states that the city recognizes the lawn library program in support of keeping neighborhoods beautiful and healthy. And that the city recognizes that the city staff's ability to facilitate the program and efforts to assist in neighborhood revitalization and outreach, including periodic reports to council regarding the effectiveness of the program. Just so the council approve it.
Make a motion, we approve this resolution R dash 05132424-3.
Second.
We have a motion and a second approving resolution number R dash 051324-3 of the city of Port Lavaca to adopt the lawn library program as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes.
Eric, when does that roll out?
I'm sorry?
Lawn library fire up. When's the program start?
We are working on getting the equipment mounted inside the trailer. We got the decals put on the trailer Friday, actually Thursday evening or afternoon, and I picked it up Friday. And so we're gonna start working on getting the equipment secured in the trailer now.
Okay.
The equipment's already been purchased, all the tools and everything.
Actual rental, what, 2 weeks, a month?
I'm sorry?
Actual checking the equipment out, the
Time limit?
yeah, well, no, it's 3 days on that, but
When we'll be ready
when
to
can we
start.
actually go down there on George Street and say, hey, I'd like to use the weed eater?
I'm still working on setting the program up.
Let me
So
check on that.
don't have that date yet.
No, sir, not yet.
Thank you.
You won't come to George Street and say you need to use the weed eater. You'll come to City Hall.
Yeah, but-
Code enforcement.
I mean, we went through the process. And so that's what we're fine tuning, all the paperwork that we went over.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a software that we're working on to where you can go online to our website. You can click on the dates that you want to rent it and it'll show if it's available at that time.
Well, I'll check it out and I'll rent it.
Well, we don't have it on the website yet, but we're working on it.
So I thought Sarah had said that you would check it out there on George Street. I apologize for that.
Yeah, I mean.
You come to the city hall and check it out. Otherwise,
And you pick it up.
Wayne will be sending me back up here. Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll go out there and we'll provide the equipment, whatever you request. And we'll check it out, mark it off in the trailer, and make sure it's in good condition. We'll give it to you, and then when you return it, we make sure it's in good.
But I think
condition.
Wayne's just pointing out, we're working with Development Services, not Public Works in this.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so you'll come to City Hall or go on the website where you belong.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Just text Derek. Keep it.
That's it.
Text Wayne.
When's the work party at your house?
Yeah, that's right, a party.
Justin's got a group, I think.
Yeah, Total Impact is definitely eyeing that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. It's gonna be perfect for
Yeah.
What? Did we vote on the resolution? Yes. Okay.
That's what we were just discussing. Sounded like we were still discussing it. Did we vote on that?
Yeah, but we
Just
did.
asking questions. All right, let's move to agenda item number 11. Consider second and final reading of an ordinance G-2-24 of the city of Port Lavaca amending the basic traffic control devices ordinance G-6-86, section 3, by adding new street locations in Berkshire, Marshall Meadow, Seagull subdivisions, and adding a repeal clause in effective. Jody?
Mayor, Council, nothing has changed since the first reading. Tom's here again if anybody's got any questions. But it's the same ordinance we approved at the first reading. So moved.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second approving the second and final reading of ordinance G-2-24, the city of Port Lavaca, amending the basic traffic control devices ordinances as presented. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. None opposed, ordinance passes. Move to agenda item number 12, consider second and final reading of ordinance G-3-24, the city of Port Lavaca, amending the code of ordinances. Appendix A, fees, rates, changes, chapter 50, water and sewer residential rates, providing effective date. Jody?
This is the same ordinance as we approved with the first reading without any changes. As you recall, this is to collect adequate revenue from the water customers to pay for the proportional share of the 2022 series debt service payments that the utility fund will be using in the water system improvement project. We need $1.97 more in addition to the 38 cents that was added last year in order to generate that revenue. It's also worth noting that the last time that the water rate was increased for operations and maintenance was in 2019 with a 50-cent increase to the base rate. This rate increase and all others that since have been to cover pass-through costs due to raw water and treatment costs and capital improvement costs. So I think that's important to recognize. Now that the new meters that were installed last year do more accurately measure the true amount of water being used. And therefore we are able to pay for the meters and realize some additional revenue for operations and maintenance in that way. So staff is recommending that this increase be approved. This will result in a new residential base rate of $26.65 and equates to about 6.6 cents a day. And I can add that we will be looking at budgeting for and performing a water rate study soon after we have 1 year of good data with the new meters, which we're probably looking at August sometime, having about a year's worth of data.
So get that study, we can adjust the rates.
Yes, I mean, then that, again, everything we've been doing since 2019 has been passed through costs. But then we'll be looking at our operations and see, how that works with the water rates, and also be refashioning how we charge for water. Most likely we'll be looking to establish rates based upon the meter size and not based upon whether it's commercial or residential. But that'll be looked at in the rate study.
So in years past, every 3 years, we do an increase based on the O&M. But we chose not to do it every year. We do it every third year. So
Yeah, we would, well, we.
haven't done that in a while. but-
We need, because we need to base that with a rate study. You don't want to just go do that. I mean, you have to have a rate study to back it up. And we didn't have the data to support it. But now that we've got a good year's worth of real data on the meters, we'll have the data to support that, yes.
Since the reading we get from Undine, how does it compare with what we're getting from our meters? Are we close on the usage or?
I don't know.
Still a big gap? You don't know
I
yet.
don't know. In fact, I just sent up an email yesterday, Friday, as a matter of fact, asking for Undine to hurry up and get us that data so we can make those assessments of that data. Because they now have all that, the automatic smart meters. So we should be able to get that data so then we can use that.
For loss?
Ours, huh?
Is that for water loss?
Yes, for water. Yeah. So we know what they're sending us. What they're sending us, subtracting what they send it to their rural water customers and compare that to what we're selling, that'll tell us what.
But there's still a lot, if we're still
Right.
losing money.
So we've got the tools, we've got to, get access to the tools. And they've been working on that and we don't have it yet, though.
Thank you. And that would be prudent to get from them.
Yes.
Make a motion to the second final reading.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second approving the second and final reading of ordinance G-3/24, the city of Port Lavaca, amending the code of ordinances, appendix A, fees, rates, and changes, chapter 50, water and sewer residential rates. As presented, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes. When we get ready to go over your data, I'd
Mhm.
like to invite Ms. Boone and
Sure.
and some of the other ratepayers that take the time to come to our council meetings to review this. I'd also like to,
Yes.
all right. Move to agenda item 13. Consider first reading of an ordinance G-4/24 of the city of Port Lavaca, amending the code of ordinances, chapter 26, manufactured home parks and RV parks, and providing an effective date. Jody?
I'm going to turn this over to Derek.
There you go, Derek.
Mayor, council, in your pack, you have a memo and the exhibit A, for the recommended, ordinance changes, the staff put in, for the recommendation, for the city council. You can see that the strikeouts are, what we're taking out, and the underline is, what we wanted to put in the ordinance. Didn't have basically, we took out, the license requirements and, renewals for licenses for manufactured home parks. There is a one-time fee that we did put, we'll discuss that here in a little bit.
That's just for new parks.
Yes, and it'll be just for new parks. We did away with the annual renewal for the manufactured home parks. That's the majority of the changes in the first couple of pages. Let's see, and page 211, a lot of that we had in there. We just renumbered them.
Oh, we did.
Moved them in the ordinance. And the suspension.
And you did speak with Texas Lakeside today.
Well, this is for manufactured homes.
Yeah,
But
Not to the RVs yet.
I'm not to the RVs yet.
okay.
because I see on the deal, it says home or manufactured home and RV parks. So we hadn't got to that yet.
But
Right.
it's, yeah,
Yeah, that's a different section of this chapter.
I'm surprised the RV park folks are not here.
Because he's met with them.
we met with them and so they were.
Okay, they're good with it. Okay. Yeah, but I still think
So far.
should be happy.
Council has any questions on the manufactured home part, but that was the main thing that we did for that section.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the recreational vehicles, section 26-7. We did meet, I have contacted, we had a meeting with one owner that has multiple RV parks in the city, and also contacted another owner of an RV park. And after talking with them, I think we have a consensus on the changes that we're recommending for council. We did same thing as the manufactured homes. We did away with the licensing. We'll see on the first section, this is to allow people to have an RV at their home for a maximum of 30 days. It's going to be a temporary RV placement. And you took out that the city employee has to connect it. But they do need to request a permit with our department. Let's see, and then moving to 26-11, we changed licensing to certificate of occupancy. That basically coincides with the requirements that we have for all other businesses in town. So if you're an RV park owner, they have to request a certificate of occupancy.
And that came out of the meeting that we had with.
Right.
Okay.
They didn't like the wording of license, but like I said, other businesses in town, we do a certificate of occupancy, so that's why our staff is recommending just to change that.
And I think it's important to just point out too, that we did reach out to everybody that had come to the workshops, but not everybody attended the meeting, but
Right.
communicated as much as we could.
I'm glad they did.
Same thing here. They do not have to apply for renewal each year. Just like every other business in town, they get their CO, their certificate of occupancy, and they're done. I'll be doing an annual inspection on the property. Just to make sure that their connections are in compliance with the minimum standards. That's basically it on that part.
What about the fencing or barriers between residential and you be inspecting that as well?
Yes, sir. Yeah, all the requirements, even the existing requirements that we have for RV parks, I'll be looking at all that. Not just the connections, but make sure that check the condition of the roads, like you said, the barriers that are required around the perimeter, make sure they're in good shape.
Thank you, Derek. Derek, did you plan for travel trailers? Because you're specifying a recreational vehicle. A vehicle is a machine designed for self-propulsion.
No, they're called our recreational vehicles.
Yeah, but
they're not called travel trailers.
actually, attorney could take you to court over that.
I've looked
A
at.
vehicle is a self-propelled,
Or towable.
no, a vehicle is a machine self-propelled.
Is that not a motorhome?
That's a motorhome.
Hold on. Because I think it's defined differently in our code of ordinances.
Yeah, yes.
Well, somebody could take them to attorney could.
That's right. They
If they-
They'll never ask me.
If they a little bit spicy,
Put the definition in.
why wouldn't you want to include travel trailers in there?
Because they're not called travel trailers.
Recreational vehicles, they're not designed to be for long-term living. That's basically what an RV site is providing.
Okay.
It's for recreational purposes. It's what they're.
We'll have with a different definition.
You have to read out that.
But yeah, if you want, I can pull up those definitions.
I was fixing to do it and read it. But I'm positive
A Winnebago with a motor in it is a recreational vehicle.
Well, that brings up a point. Where are the definitions?
Well, I don't think they were changed, so they're probably not in your packet.
They're not in the packet. I'm gonna go to Muni Code.
Change. The rest of the ordinance is still, price.
So we can look at that and.
Yeah,
I'm looking right now.
verify that. And if we need to amend the definition somehow, we can do that.
Any place total.
For the second.
Get over it. It just seems a little bit odd.
Check on that.
Make it.
Just getting the vehicle over and driving somewhere. No, this trailer, you cannot drive it.
But that was the main changes for that ordinance. If the council has any more questions.
Thank you, Derek.
Want to approve the first reading? Motion.
I don't know if I'm gonna do that one. Oh, I'll second it then.
So we have motion. Did you get that, man? We got a motion and a second. Approving the first reading of ordinance G-5-24, the city of Port Lavaca amendment code of ordinances, appendix A. Fees, rates and changes, chapter 26, manufactured housing and recreational vehicles, sections 26. As presented, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes.
Do you want me to read the definition?
Is this a?
Of,
Not on your time. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna give it to you if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could send me a copy. That way I can just use it.
I'll do that.
Hey, I'm gonna argue back.
That'd be nice.
Go to revenue for maintenance on the RV.
There you go, Mr. Tippett. I sent it to you.
Oh, thank you very much. I don't know. It's just,
You want, I've already get rid of.
Because I think after you read it, you're gonna still argue with me.
These two.
I got it. That's all it
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do.
I gotta blow it up and print it out.
I'm gonna move down to item 20 since it involves something
Okay, good.
we just discussed.
Oh, Mr. Meyer.
Recommendation of the planning board for a request from Carl Meyer for a variance request for a manufactured home to be placed on a developed existing residential lot that is not a manufactured home park. Property is described as block B, lot 30, 15 foot of lot 29, the Lou Davis subdivision, 302 Davis Street. Derek?
Mayor and Council, in your packet, you have the memo from the. As, see, talks about the request. Gives you a little background information on it. The planning board's recommendation was denial of the request for variance to chapter 26 of the manufactured and recreational vehicle parks ordinance as to not set a precedence. They had mentioned that they had denied the same request from other property owners in the past, and this issue may come up again, and they didn't want to set a precedence on allowing the variance and giving one person the opportunity to have some the approval and not get the same benefit to somebody else.
Did you mean the person, Mr. Meyer didn't have a special request that's different from the others?
Well, it's a residential lot. It had a manufactured home there about 6 years ago.
Mr. Meyer, I'm gonna let him go ahead and speak to this.
There was a trailer on that lot for.
I'm sorry, for 3 years.
For 45 years. And I bought the lot and there was vagrants on that, in that trailer. And before I bought it, they tore the trailer down. And it was my intentions of buying the lot and having someone put a manufactured home, modular home, something what the city requires. So zone 2, zone 3. And in my understanding, if there's a trailer going to be put on there, you're going to inspect it anyhow. And all I'm asking is, I purchased property just for some extra income. And like, there was a trailer on there for 45 years. And I wasn't aware of the ordinance. And I've had some health issues. after the ordinance, but during the process, I've probably spent $1,500 cleaning that lot up and it still needs some more cleaning on it. But I mean, if you put a trailer on there, you're gonna have more of tax revenue. And I mean, I'm not asking anything. I know y'all have an ordinance, but why even have a zone, you put a zone 2 trailer in the area if you can't even put one in the city?
But you can put them in manufactured home parks.
Well, yeah, where are they at?
There's designated areas on our land use plan that shows that.
I thought we could, like if property owner wanted to put mobile home on there for him to live in or her to live in.
No,
But what?
Oh, if it had been there and they would want to.
6 months.
Yeah, they have
In
6
6
months.
months.
They have 6 months.
On that. And I wasn't aware, I don't live in the city, I don't get the paper.
Been more than 6 months. And he's asking for a variance because he's had some
It's been more
exceptions.
than 6 months, yeah.
He couldn't get to it. I believe that's.
I wasn't aware of the ordinance to start with, and then I don't live in the city, I don't get the paper.
You said you were sick for a while and.
I've had some health issues, yes, sir, I still am.
That's on Davis Street?
It's on, yes, 302 Davis.
How many trailer mobile homes are there compared to how many?
I think there's like 18 mobile homes in that neighborhood, or.
On Davis Street,
On Davis, there's 3, 4, it's about 8, 7, I think, 7 or 8. I'm not.
There's about the same many
7 or
houses.
8 houses too.
Right, they're mixed in together, aren't they?
Yes.
So did you say you collected signatures for previous?
I did before, I had 30-something signatures out there before for that last one. And they didn't mind, and I'm not gonna go put a piece of junk out there. But whatever I have someone put out there, it will be up to y'all's code or what y'all's standard are. And
Was that other request for an RV and your manufactured?
that's what that one was for, yeah.
He had a manufactured home park on another street and they closed to Davis. It was the Chiefs.
No, it's Dan,
But he had manufactured homes and he requested to have an RV place there and he got the signatures and back several years ago.
Well, one thing that came into play with that too was, it had a grandfather clause, that there was one there. And that was the fact that I could put it back to, because that's what it was, it's been there for so long. And I don't know why the grandfather clause don't come into play on this.
Because it's 6 months.
The ordinance.
Did y'all just come up with the ordinance,
No,
or whoever did,
it's been there.
since when?
About 2
I,
Well, I
Longer.
was just told recently, what I was told.
No,
About 6 months ago.
No, because you came in and we talked about a variance numbers a year ago, I know.
Well, it's somewhere in there, but I
But
didn't.
no, it's been about 2 years since we changed.
Not on the ordinance. Now, y'all might have, but I wasn't told that.
Yeah, every time you came in for the last year, I've told you you got to get request a variance and now we're hearing.
But it wasn't for
It was for the manufactured home.
I do remember the thing we did change is we deleted the item in there that allowed that rule that there was 50% of the
Right.
block had RVs, manufactured homes, then you could. We'd eliminated that the last time we updated the ordinance.
I'm not asking to come in and put a trailer on just a lot that's sitting there. I mean, the fact that there was one there and it's got sewer and water and electrical for a trailer house there. I mean, it's set up for it.
What options do we have to allow something like that?
I think the variance is actually the requesting a variance to the 6-month rule, I guess. Right, Larry?
Well, it's basically requesting that he, let's put a manufactured home on a residential lot because it's been a few years since one's been in place. Yeah.
you're gonna overrule the committee, your P and Z.
The committee?
Maybe we need to table it until we look at it some more, because it sounds like, if there's that many, possibly, but at least not have to make that decision at least tonight. Because I'm not familiar with, the number of, manufactured homes or trailers or whatever, mobile homes in that subdivision. But it's possible, that if there was a number of them and
I think there's 8 on that street alone.
but my concern is that if we make an exception here, then we have to start making the exception on all the other, after we've passed the ordinance about no manufactured homes on,
Well, in circumstances, it's different too. Somebody might come in, want one on the lot, and that's different. I mean, but if someone had one there and they set up for it, I mean, that's another
Look at the
issue.
unique circumstances.
Yeah, that neighborhood's about 50-50 trailers, homes, so.
Well, I know I wasn't able to attend the planning board meeting, but I did listen to it because it is, you can get online and watch it. And I know there was one comment of concern that on either side of this lot were homes. There wasn't any mobile home, manufactured homes there. But I know there are several down the road.
He's building stuff out on the shop right there, right next to it. And his property is on my fence line. His building is on the fence line. He's not using any kind of easement or anything either. So, I mean, there's nobody doing anything about that. And that was brought up about the easement along that property line too. He actually has his roof hanging over my fence line, draining over my property.
That would be a setback, not an easement, but.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not sure when that was.
Well, that was the matter.
What?
It's far from the neighbors.
Yeah, that's how.
And resubmit it to the,
It's not ordinance or.
We are.
got unique circumstances.
I'm sorry.
Can we table it?
We are in the process, I'm sure you are aware, we are in the process of working up a new zoning ordinance. And in that, they're gonna be determining certain areas that are, that might be allowed for manufactured homes other than just manufactured home parks. That could be an option.
Cause I know that neighbor, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead and finish up.
No, you can ask your question.
No, that neighborhood has always had like.
And that could be an area that they could.
It's always been either or, and
Right.
you know, at one point, there was a ordinance that said if a trailer or manufactured home was on that lot, they could replace it with another, but there's always been a time limit.
And that was 6 months, yeah.
Yeah, there's always been a time limit and it's always been, now it has to be a certain age. It can't be an old.
97, I think is the oldest.
I'm not sure about the age. I mean, but I know that.
Like I said.
You looking at a new one, Mr. Fryer, are you looking at, Mr. Mark? What time frame are you looking at bringing a building in there if it's approved? What's your time frame?
Just whenever I get one in there within the next 3, 4, 5 months.
What's your time frame?
Well, and we did mention during the planning board, the modular home is allowed.
Yeah.
So.
And aren't it's a used mobile or manufacturer home, it has to be 10 years or newer, right? Not a 97.
And just to most people, there's not a big difference between the two, although like. code-
There is a difference.
Well, there is, but to the eye, it's the
Yeah.
same, so.
So modular home.
Yeah, that's subdivision. From an appearance standpoint, there's not that much.
Yeah, modular homes are allowed. The modular home would be allowed, probably.
I would like for him to get approval from his neighbors, this, and then maybe resubmit this to the planning board.
But what I was gonna mention is, that could be something that we could address, during, when we look at the zoning ordinance,
What's your time frame on that?
Yeah, but again, we'd be establishing the zoning ordinance, but then the land use plan, that's a separate
Right.
animal.
and
That may
that's
take,
gonna be all done at the same time, so.
but that, I don't know that that's gonna necessarily be that quick.
Yeah.
Well, my understanding too, if you go down there and buy one of these Durkin buildings and it's within windstorm, you can put one on that lot. Is that not correct?
Yeah, I mean, if it meets
It's
the
international.
international building code, yes.
A Burskin building, what is?
And it's a
That's
permanent foundation.
Highway, if it's made for residential,
Right.
I mean.
That's the same thing with the modular
It's
homes.
the same thing as a trailer house or manufactured.
But it's not built to the same code, no.
I still don't see the difference other than one's got wheels on it, the other ones don't. And you take the wheels.
So we're just approving the option for him to put something on there whenever he brings somebody in with their own, whatever the house is or.
That's approved.
Then you have to go back.
Years or newer.
Yeah, you have to go back again and then approve that home or that building.
No,
No, as long as it's replaced within the 6-month period, but that's the issue is that it's been,
He's saying that the building brought in will have to meet code, which.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
We would have to determine before they.
right.
But if you approve the variance, and that does allow a manufactured home, which meets all the other, requirements we've got in the code. It wouldn't be any manufactured code, but.
Now, manufactured homes they're inspected and approved by HUD. Modular homes, meet the, international building codes. That's the difference.
Again, I will say, how about if we table it until we got some more study on this, because it sounds to me like, if you've got a large number of mobile homes or something like that in a particular subdivision, then you can say, okay, we're gonna look at this particular subdivision. But I just hate to think that, you work to get this set up so that you're trying to improve the appearance of the city. And then we say, okay, well, this variance here, and now, okay, if you start that, that's kind of going down the wrong road at some point. I think it requires a little bit more, maybe investigation or studying by the planning board.
Well, they denied it.
Just pass. So
Yeah.
it didn't have to be on the next.
I like the way you think, Jim. I would make a motion that we.
Yeah, like I said, the plan was worried about
Then it comes up next meeting or just
Table.
Usually it comes back.
Okay.
So we just pass it. So
Let's
we
pass
come up with
for-
a remedy.
Okay, but I like the idea of, getting the neighbor signatures, and then, that helps the planning board with their decision. Can we put that in?
Take section planning board.
I mean,
If they can find an alternative.
Get some neighbor signatures. I mean, if nobody cares, then that's a piece of information,
Yeah.
If the neighbors don't mind having a manufactured home,
because I think
I think that would help.
we don't want to price everybody out of a house in the town. So if we have an area that leads itself toward that, then maybe we can.
Are there any other empty lots in that area on that street?
Yeah,
Now, this is not close to your other 3 or 4, your
I
other.
was back on the back street back there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is right across the street from the Habitat for Humanity. On Davis Street.
Okay, I second his motion.
I think there's 3 or 4.
Pass it.
Pass it.
Pass, we have to have
Pass.
a motion. We'll go ahead and vote on
Okay.
We're just gonna pass it.
Yeah.
So they can go back to planning.
We'll go ahead and do a motion. We have a motion and a second to pass agenda item number 20. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Okay, so.
Not opposed.
We're trying to work with you.
I'll get some information together about all the properties that have the manufactured.
Don't have to have that.
And if you want to, you can go and get some. Yeah, and get approval from neighbors and all that.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Go. I'm still getting the other information. All right.
Okay, let's, we have to move back to
okay, when they can rent it for indefinite period, you know, the RV parks, they can say, okay, you can stay as long as you want. We've got it metered, whatever. But we don't want you to have more than 2 months. And I think that's almost like, we don't want competition. And so what we're going to do is we're going to recommend that you get rid of the competition, because if people say, okay, I would say, what's wrong with 3 months, you know?
And we did pose that. And again, just to share with you what they are requesting, they want 2 months, that 3 months was
Well,
not acceptable.
No, I've driven through those trailer parks off of Broadway. And you couldn't squeeze another trailer in there. And they're talking about that they can't get maximum, the maximum amount of trailers. All their spaces are full. And what we're going to do is kind of place ourselves out of the market completely. But no, we don't want to be in competition with them. We want them to make money, but they're completely full. I don't know.
Lakeside's not.
Who?
Yeah, Lakeside is not.
Well, I didn't say Lakeside. I said the ones off of Broadway.
Yeah, those are full.
I intentionally didn't say Lakeside.
Can I add to that? The reason we were so easy to agree with the RV park owners on the 2-month limit is because we don't want to be marketed as a long-term stay park.
Right.
We want to be marketed as a tourist campground, not an RV park. So we don't want the long-term stays. We want the short-term stays to bring what Tanya would call heads in beds type of thing. We want the people to come see what we have to offer.
Well, I really wasn't contesting the length of stay. It was the amount that we're jacking the price up. And they're saying that we are in competition with them. And I think we got bamboozled a little bit.
Well, one of the things that's a concern is also the fact that, you know, I've been accused that we as council members we're not using the tax money correctly, or this, or that, or the other. And it's very sort of negative about what we were doing, but we're trying to operate this park as, you know, it's sustainable, self-sustaining. That's what we want. And I think we have to set some sort of a standard to say, okay, if we want it to be self-sustaining, then let's expand that maybe 3 months. But the idea of saying, okay, we don't want you to have them there more than 2 months, and down on the other part, 2 weeks. And one expressed to me that what they would like to do is just say just a few weeks at the Dadgum RV park up at the top, up of the hill. But the thing is if we say, okay, we will go with just knock ourselves out of the market, and we don't want to make it self-sustaining, that's one thing. But I think what we're trying to do is to make it self-sustaining, because we have, there's employees that have to be paid. There's all these other things. And I think it's fair to the city and it's fair to our guests, what's wrong with us?
I hate to admit this, but I agree with Jim.
Oh, my God.
Tonight. Why don't we meet them halfway? So we raise the rates and do 3 months, because we were doing it for 6 and we weren't very good. In my impression, I could be wrong, in keeping them at just 6. So
No, the ones we have there they want to book for a year.
I know.
Yeah.
So let's not go crazy. Let's do 3 months, let's meet them. I mean, cause we're meeting way more than halfway. I mean, so let's try it. Let's see how the business model works. And I mean, it was very good. It was very good that they offered about the waterfront rates. They've said that at the meeting about how that is not competition to them. Keep them low, bring tourists in. The hillside ones are a little more competition, but again, it's touristy. I agree with Jim. 3 months is a good round number,
Is when you add it.
odd numbers.
Yeah, so another thing I wanted to point out, and this is where Jody and I come up with this 650 that we've proposed.
700,
I'm gonna pick two equally nice RV parks. One is Serendipity in Palacios. I know that one because I worked there as their director, and we always did our chili bean cook-off and beef there.
Okay.
And it's an equally as nice. Their rates come out 650 a month.
Okay. That's an enhanced park, just like Lakeside.
Yeah.
It's not a standard. It's not just a.
And I think and also with what Tim's saying, if you're saying, okay, we're going from 500 to 650. That we're making that step. And so that way we're not quite as much of a competition, but the fact that,
So we're
they can
not.
stay there forever. In those other RV parks. And I know the Browns own 4 parks. And they can, you can stay as long as you like. Well,
We're
I
not
just like the
competition.
idea for us not to, I don't want us to just knock ourselves out of the market.
The
Yeah, RV parks are pretty adamant.
Chill to Rockport. My sister lives there. Their rates are higher, but their electricity is lower because they're shaded. It doesn't cost near as
But
much.
they're $595 plus electricity.
Yeah.
So that's.
I think it comes down roughly.
650. So the dollar amount, I think we're all agreeing on.
Yeah.
I kind of like we're going from 6 months. I'm a little nervous about going down to 2 months because we need to prove the business model. We do still need to make money on this part, right? This is not a.
And I agree.
It's not just to break even. It's also to bring tourists, but it's also, it's.
Well, we like to have someone there. And we have somebody there. We have staff working there.
Right. And
And that's what we need. And in order to make this self-sustaining, we've got to be able to, okay, you're gonna be here for 3 months. This is what you're gonna be paying $650 a month. But that's including your electricity and all like that, because at the other places, they're all metered. All of those RVs are metered. And so they know exactly how much they're making. And the thing is if we decided this is something that we wanted to do, is to make it appealing to people to come here and all like that. And I think that encourages that.
We haven't broke even. Because we were shut down for the longest.
Right, yeah.
Because of electric problems. So we have roughly 8 to 10 months now that we can actually look at as solid. This is how much we're making. And from what I've seen there, we can sustain the staff member we have working there and pay the electric and water. But we're not making anything to maintain anything.
Yeah.
It looks nice for long term.
Yeah.
That was because we were charging 500 a month, right?
Yeah, but we're not full either.
No, I understand.
We took away the change of stays.
I'd like to make a recommendation, make a motion that we approve the ordinance with the one change of going from 2 months to 3 months on the hillside. And everything else remained the same.
On the new RV park side.
Yeah, so instead of the 2 month, 650, do 650 and 3 months.
Okay, you're looking at B, the B column.
So 32-71B. Yeah, B column.
Yeah.
B column.
Second.
Okay, so go from 2 months to 3 months.
Yes.
That's the only change.
Only change.
We just don't like to see it. He said, we just don't want you there, basically. It's like
A motion and a second, approving the first reading, to change, go from a 3 month stay to, from the 2 month stay to a 3 month stay.
All in favor?
I was looking at Jody.
Yeah.
Did I say that?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so. and he was-
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. None opposed, motion passes.
It's so frustrating. I had an RV park on it, did you see him?
I'm gonna wreak havoc on this.
This is a scary night, 2 times.
Okay.
I just didn't.
Now we're at agenda item number 15, consider award of bid for the 2024 Silk Coat program. Wayne?
Mayor, council, as you remember, we just completed the CDBG project in the Old Town site. And we went out and bid for the final seal coat over the needed streets. We bid that on May 7th, or we accepted bids on May 7th. And it was that, I'm kind of. We received bids from Silva and
I think Clark.
Clark Construction.
Are concealed.
Silva came in as the low bidder on both the base bid and the owner's option. We, and to clarify, the owner's option was to take the lower price and go with AC5, which typically the city has used in the past. Civil Corps recommends AC15P for longevity and performance because it's a polymerized oil base rather than this petroleum base. Anyhow, we recommend going with the AC15P because there was only
Less than $2,500
savings, which doesn't amount to anything. Again, the low bidder was Silva Construction with a bid of $77,775, with Clark Construction being $192,615. So staff recommends award to Silva Construction for that, and then in the future, I am looking at going over that with the they call that?
It's an onx type product, but it's not onx. It's some kind of a sealant.
We won't know the difference.
But yeah, well, but
Coating to ensure longevity of the seal coat.
and we're paying for this out of,
We call it the fog coat.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
And Silva is a local
Yeah.
person. And as a matter of fact, he and I graduated from high school together. And so that shows you how old that sucker is, you know. That's why you didn't teach.
And this is being paid for from the savings from the CDBG project.
It does seem like they could come up with something these days better than a sea line coat paved streets with.
There you go. So this says seal coat program, so
This isn't the seal coat program. This is seal coat of select original town site streets. It's not.
Not a seal coat program anymore?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a separate.
Part of the seal coat. That's something that I will be bringing to you guys in future months. I'm still putting together the necessary edits.
Daniel, this is your district?
Yeah. Yeah.
You made the.
Would you like to make the motion?
I would.
Finally got it.
Huh?
So, I mean, Anne Marie, do we need, in the motion, do we need to specifically say seal coat of select original town site streets? Just because the agenda item didn't really say that correctly.
She's got, yes. Makes sense.
Once you say your recommended motion, he can motion it.
Recommend.
Did you make the motion?
I'll make the motion. Let me see what number was there.
But it's not exactly written correctly.
Award of the seal coat of the select original town site streets to Silva Construction in the amount of $77,775.
Motion.
Moved. Second.
So moved.
Who made the motion? Dan? All right.
Daniel made it and I seconded.
He seconded, okay. Oh, Alan. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second.
He was coach.
Coaching. A motion and a second to award the bid seal coat program for the original town site streets to Silva Construction in the amount of $77,775 for the base bid and alternative one. That's there. As presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, second sign. Opposed, motion passes.
Clears the fog.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's all right. Move to agenda item number 16.
16.
Consider a request of the Animal Control Department to declare 2 vehicles as surplus and to authorize the disposal of said vehicles by releasing them to the Enterprise Fleet Management to auction them off. Colin? You want to say anything, Colin, before we vote?
Well, they say it's like the one that he did with the patrol cars, right?
Correct. We've been basically spring cleaning our old vehicles. And so these are the two that animal control had. So one of them's been replaced, the city bought, and then the other one is the enterprise program.
These custom or are they just regular pickups?
They, the Chevrolet has a custom bed. The other one has just a slip box in it.
Oh, okay.
Instead of donating it, I think there's more money to be made, put it back into the program. So that's why we decided to turn it over to Enterprise.
Who is Enterprise? Like, where do they do these auctions?
So Enterprise, the city got into an agreement as far as all of our vehicles.
You know,
Oh, okay.
just enterprise, like.
Fleet management.
It's a fleet management program.
I guess, is there a report on the, I guess we had a previous auction. Did we have a report out of how much we made off that?
I have all of that and I can send it to you.
Okay. Is it, can you give a rough?
No, there's so many emails. I mean, because
Okay,
we've already done like
it's worth the effort.
I think, but I have all the emails.
I think ours was around 20, but that's including seas and also.
I second it.
But I bet he could find out for you where they take them. They probably take them to one of those auction houses.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request of Animal Control Department to declare 2 vehicles in surplus as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And none opposed, motion passes. That includes releasing them to the. Yes. Right, we move to agenda item number 17, receive presentation of annual police department activity report for 2022-2023. Come on.
Mayor Council, this is the third year that Jody and I have decided to do this. I think it's very beneficial as far as that goes. It just kind of gives an update as far as the department, kind of where the town sits, and the crimes that we investigate, kind of shows, how safe we are, how safe we're not. So, I can go into great details. I know it's getting late, so I'll just kind of hit some of the high points. And, if you have any questions, just stop me at any time. Of course, we always start with, our goals and stuff. We were able to, of course, this is countywide, the centralized dispatch is pretty much the building is up. We're looking into actually starting up, I believe, in October on the first of the fiscal year. So that's really good. I think that's going to help tremendously as far as public safety when it comes to the community. One big goal that we had was paperless submission of cases. So we're currently submitting our cases to the DA's office electronically, which is huge cost savings, in my opinion. Of course, district meetings, I think you all attended them. Didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but at least we tried. And we still maybe we'll pick up that ball again as far as that goes. Of course, we got a grant for ballistic shields. I believe Burris came in and actually presented that. And so those are in all the cars. Hopefully we'll never have to use them. And then of course, Southern Software, RMS and CAD, that's what we went to from Tyler. And that was our part as the city and the department to join as far as the dispatch center. So the whole county would more likely go to Southern Software. So, let's see. One of the big goals that we're working on is get accreditation for the department. TML is a big advocate of that, so we're looking into doing that through TPCA, which is quite a bit of work. It's a little bit more than I thought it was. I've gone to the last chief conference, and they had a class specific to that, and there's a lot of moving parts to that. So we're definitely.
It's like 120.
It's quite a bit,
Yeah,
as far as policy.
Bay City and Port Lavaca, Palacios too.
And of course, it's it deals with security of the facility. Evidence is a big key factor in it, and then policy updated, so every 5 years, so I think it'd be a good award to have as far as the city. So that's what we're going to be definitely working on next year or two. Moving on, as far as community projects, let's see, last year we had about 146 that we attended. That's about 15 plus from the year before. Training hours, 2,064, which is a little bit down from the year before. Total calls of service, and of course, total calls of service is stuff that we're called to, but also self-initiated actions by officers such as traffic stops and all that. So we had 13,542, which was up from the year before. Self-initiated calls by officers was 5,280. Traffic citations was 543. Warnings was about 1,600. Let's see. Motor vehicle accidents actually went down, which is always a good thing, which was 168. Number of case reports was about 847, which was a little bit down, which is good. And then of course CID was assigned 425. And then we have 258 or 285 arrests for the year. Moving on, as far as type A offenses, and of course, type A is all your personal crimes, all your property crimes, and then crimes against society. So burglaries, your thefts, your assaults, all that. And we actually added a 10-year trend for the last 19 years. And I'm proud to say that we have been trending down for several years. We did hit a very high point in 2016, and I remember being a detective, and I remember being very busy, but we slowly decreased from there. I know COVID took a big, as far as a lot of that out, and then I was kind of worried because I was scared everybody's going to start getting in trouble again. But unfortunately, we've kind of leveled out, so which is good.
Then, Colin, and we have a bunch of I don't know how to word this, but a lot of construction going on between 2014 to 2019, industrial construction.
Right.
So we had an influx of people that normally are not here. Did the arrest reflect that?
Well, I know what we've come to find out that when they're not working, they're drinking. And that's where a lot of our DWIs will go up as far as that goes. We do have a lot of DWIs that are not from this area. They're from the valley as far as that goes. So a lot of our DWIs that we encounter are from, from not here.
So that definitely had an impact on our numbers.
Let's see. Going to the big highlight that I saw as far as last year is that on page 12 is that as far as crimes against person, we only had a 1.01% increase, which is very good. Our property crimes went down 36.73%. And then our crimes against society actually went down about 10%. So a total, as far as type our group A offenses, they decreased by 23.7%, which is pretty good. So of course, calls for service last year. Some of our big stuff is, of course, extra patrol, traffic stops, follow-up investigations, citizens requested assistance, and suspicious vehicle and person calls. Now, this will change now that we've gone to Southern Software, so with parks and stuff like that. What I need to get it set up is I wanted to do it by districts, and so that y'all can have district boards that cover your area.
That'd be neat.
Which are experiencing. Still trying to get that set up with our new system as far as Southern Software, but they have that capability.
I
So
like that idea.
so we can actually, this is what's going on in your district. You have a bunch of traffic issues, you have thefts, all that kind of stuff. And it helps us too, as far as figure out out of control. So, use of force, actually went down quite a bit, from the year before. And of course, use of force, and a lot of agencies are straying away from this, but I prefer to keep it. So if you display a firearm or you display a taser, I still feel that's the show. So I still add it with these reports as far as that. A lot of departments will not show that we don't have, but I'd rather be on the side of transparent than not, so. But last year we only had 5 and let's see. 2 of them, of course, were displaying a firearm. One was actually displaying OC spray and a taser. And then we actually have less lethal shotguns in the vehicles now. We actually didn't have to deploy that on.
Deployed it. What?
So.
I weren't dove hunting.
Well, it's, it definitely gets your attention, so. And then, of course, last year, we only had 5 complaints against officers. And all were unfounded without disciplinary actions.
That's good.
As the department sits right now, we have 5 vacancies as far as that goes. I do have 2 that are in the academy. We did send one of our dispatchers to the Victoria Police Academy. So she should be almost done in about 2 or 3 weeks.
It's just trying to keep them full.
We have another one in Delmar that is coming up. So hopefully both of them are past T-Cole. We do have an experienced officer that is looking to the department. And then we're looking to sponsor 3 to the Wharton Academy starting in July. If all that plan works out, we will be. Got my fingers crossed as far as
The struggle.
it is the biggest challenge, of course, for the department, any department, as far as that goes, is recruitment and retention.
Retention.
How do you handle people revving up cars in the middle of the night?
Yes, that is a big complaint. Traffic is one of our biggest complaints. As far as, of course, we try to actually control as much as we can as far as, if you do hear it, please call us so that we can try to get there in the area. Also, too, there are complaints that can be filed against that person as far as that goes. So the actual.
We don't have to actually be there to watch, see and do it, right? We can just file a complaint on them and follow through.
We have that quite a bit.
That's been going on a lot.
Has there been any trouble? Because I heard a couple of complaints about in the subdivisions where you have somebody renting, they have the water or the utilities turned on in their name and they, so-and-so has 7 residences that he has in his name. And then you drive by and in the driveway, you may have 5 vehicles or a couple, 2 or 3 pickups out here and they're charging so much for each room.
Right.
$8 a room. And then, but the noise that's created in these situations. And I know that there's a problem about, if you're running a boarding house or something like that, and you've got, because I know there's two or 3 in Lynn Haven where I live. And when you drive by, there's like 7 vehicles.
Right.
And it's in the so-and-so's name, but he lives somewhere else.
There is a lot of that, as far as contractors and in housing multiple people as far as that goes. We have did a few things as far as parking on the wrong side of the roadway, parking for extended hours. We have towed a few vehicles.
Well, the concern that I have is if you saw, you've got 3-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. And you've got 12 people, maybe 2 or 3 people in each room. They've got single beds and they bring in a little stove to cook. If you have a fire, you gotta.
We don't have anything that prohibits that though.
Well, actually, that's something I am working on because that is an issue because those were approved for single family housing. And if I find out that, they're not doing it as a single family housing like it was, originally approved, then we can go after the property for that. And that's one of the things I've worked with the fire department with and Colin, and then also, we had a meeting today, we're working on, the short-term rentals. A lot of them are not even paying taxes on the short-term rentals as well. They're not in compliance with the codes because they have too many people living there, like I said. But they're also not paying the taxes for the, short-term rentals. So there's a lot of things I'm looking at to enforce, to go after those type of people that.
But they're ordinance violations, not criminal.
Correct.
No, it's not criminal, but,
That sounds like multiple violations or.
yes. Yeah, and that's one of the things I'm working on right now.
That would be a
It's hard.
Derek Smith.
It is.
It's hard to enforce.
Well, somebody told me that someone suggested that there's like 50 of them in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's quite a bit. I'm slowly starting to find out where a lot of them are. And I'm getting that list together.
In my neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised it was only 50.
That's what,
It's about, there's a lot of cars, and there's a lot of people in that house. See, in my house, there's 4 cars and there's only 2.
Well, that's because you've got lots of money and.
That's what it is.
I've got one car.
Thank you, chief.
I appreciate it. Tell you guys, thank you for getting that radar trailer back in service. And immediately it's back there on Oakland.
No problem. We will be budgeting probably 2 more. For some reason, well, they need to make plans, whatever they make that radar trailer, because it has been hit again. It gets hit probably at least 2 or 3 times a year. So, but it still works. So
So do we have 2 or 3?
we just have one.
We just have 1?
We have the same ones.
They move it around.
Yes. But I
You know, we used to have 3 at one point.
I don't ever remember 3, but as
Yeah,
far
we
as.
had 2 and then we had one that was. Julie and I went looking for it, remember?
That one, well, that's the same one that keeps getting hit.
From way back?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
but what, yeah, wow.
The thing is bulletproof. Yeah, so it looks pretty rough, but it still works. So I plan on some kind of, I think we found some around 8.
Motion, I'll second.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the report.
Presentation.
I second it.
Presentation.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the police department activity report and presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. We'll move to agenda item number 18, consider recommendation to the planning board for a request from Betty L. Cox for a minor replat of the properties described as block 5, lot 15 and 16 of the Lynn Haven subdivision, 112 and 14 Crockett Street. Derek?
Mayor, council, in your packet, you have a memo for, it's 112 and 114 Crockett Street, basically what the property owners want to do. They own both of the properties. And they're wanting to move their property line about 9 feet. I did meet with them at the property and looked at it, and the setbacks are still met. It still meets the code. So therefore, the planning board did recommend approval of the minor replat.
They want to move the setbacks?
No, they moved the side, internal lot lines.
They own both.
They own both properties, and they moved one of the property lines over so that they could have a little bit more, and they're looking at, I believe they're gonna be selling the other property. Basically, what they did is they moved that property line, 5 foot, from that house.
Made it bigger.
Made their property bigger,
Yeah.
yes,
5 foot.
for their, by 9 feet,
Yeah, and the other one would be.
And that's allowed because they own both properties?
yes. But if not, then the other property owner would have to be as well,
And the smaller lot still meets the minimum lot size.
yes.
Yeah, she called about that.
Make a motion that we.
Second.
No matter what, she made a motion too.
Say, wait a minute, I was just about to say, that is Jim's.
It's just asked.
Anyway, make a motion that we accept the request from Ms. Cox for a variance Blocks 5, lot 50.
Not variant.
The variance is.
Replat.
Minor replat.
Minor replat.
That's important to know for the future.
Still second?
Put that one in your pocket.
I did.
Motion and a second, approving the recommendation or approving the recommendation of the planning board for a request from Betty L. Cox for a minor replat of the properties described as block 5, lots 15 and 61, subdivision as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes. And now move on to agenda item 19, consider recommendation of the planning board for a request from Ty C. Harris for a minor replat of the properties described as Key Hawk lots 19 to 22, 636 Buckley Street and 611 Harbor Street. Some property IDs 15,788 and 18,320.
What do they want?
Mr. Harris is requesting, he's moving it's a minor replat as well. His property, if you recall, he has that big metal building. He's moving the property line, to meet the setback requirements because he's going to build another building, where the vacant, the open area is right now in that corner.
Okay.
So to meet the setback requirements, he had to move the property line. He's renting out that big building to somebody else now, so he had to get out of it. He's getting ready to build another structure for his office and living space.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
There you go.
Motion.
Get on the record.
That's what it is.
Motion and second approving the recommendation. Request from Ty C. Plat of the properties described as Key Hawk lots 19 to 22 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And opposed, motion passes. Skip to agenda item number 21, consider recommendation of the planning board for a request in Texas Dow employees credit union for a minor replat conceptual plan for 0.85 acres in tract
BT.
what is 29
Part.
or part of 29A0035 maximum sunset property.
Is that property over on
38,216?
Oh, Woolsey's.
Yeah.
Woolsey's.
Furniture store.
Furniture gallery.
Okay.
Yeah, furniture.
Herbs.
Not gallery furniture though.
No.
No, Snowdy's property.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mayor Council, this one is, it's 4 lots. TDC is looking at building a new structure. Y'all may be aware. And they're looking at a replat to make it all one lot for their building and parking area. Mr. Hayes has been online patiently waiting.
I saw that name, I was running online waiting, and it's the last thing we're doing.
He's in the PJs already.
I think, I don't know if he's still waiting or not. Mr. Hayes?
You're muted. Yeah.
Made him come.
He might be asleep.
No, there he is. There he is.
Good evening. Sorry about that. Not a problem. No, obviously it's John Hayes. I work with the Element Group. We've been contracted with TDECU to do the design and development of the parcel on State Highway 35. So it's got like 4 lots and we're asking it to be replatted into one, to be developed into about a 2,600 square foot credit union.
Okay. Progress. That sounds good.
Hallelujah.
You can see the conceptual drawing on the for the properties.
They really need to grow.
Yeah. Is that enough land to build that big old building?
Actually, it is. Actually, it works out pretty good in terms of the site
There you
plan.
go. It's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have a limited pre-development meeting and with fire and Miss Jody and Wayne, and they did make the corrections that we requested, and everybody's in agreement with the approval of this conceptual plan.
Okay.
This drawing.
It's like, well, you probably have
That approved the entrances to.
invested a lot in architects and
They're
engineers.
probably not new.
So where's the ATM at?
That's good to know.
Actually,
Where the ATM is right now. Wait in line to get to the ATM. Where is that?
Still gonna.
There's actually, there's actually is two. There's one to the drive-in and one by the main entrance. The two entrances were actually reviewed.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. See on the out,
Wait, that's it.
the drive is the ATM, and then there's one by the front door. It's gonna be a.
Okay, Jasper.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and accept the recommendation of the planning board.
Yeah.
Second.
You didn't make a first.
Well.
Yeah,
we had to rewatch.
Appreciate it. All right, we have a motion and a second, approving the recommendation of the planning board for the request of the town employees credit union for minor replat, the conceptual plan for 1.85 acres and tract, what is that? Tract, Park 29 of A0035 Maximo Sanchez, property ID 38-216, 38-270, and 38-230, and 38-287 as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. There are none opposed, motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did not even, that's what he was waiting on. I didn't know who Mr. Hayes is. All right, we're gonna move back to, we're gonna do agenda item number 4 first. There. Appoint the Mayor Pro Tem again. Big Rosie indicated she would like to continue in that position. This council.
Otherwise.
Yeah.
I move that we reappoint Rosie as the mayor pro tem.
Thank you.
Second. Oh, you second.
I already did. Jim and I are on.
Whatever Mandy said, Mandy said.
That's scary.
Whoever Mandy writes down first, that's not. All right, we have a motion in a second, appointing Rosie Padron as mayor pro tem. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, now we have to go back to the consent agenda, which we passed earlier.
Yeah, I'd like to pull item F out.
Okay, well, let me read any others, anybody want to pull it up? I'm gonna read the remainder, the minutes of the April 8th, 2024 regular meeting, minutes of the April 29th, 2024 special meeting workshop, reviewing the credit card statement, receiving the financial highlight report, reviewing the Victoria Economic Development monthly report, and ratifying the request for grants to code lodging departments. Chapter 34, Region Article 4, Part Regulations, Section 32-72, those established parking or loitering in public parks after 11 is prohibited. The operating hours started at this park on Wednesday, May 1st, 2020.
I move to we accept them as
They
listed.
ratified their request. I think we missed. Okay. We have a motion?
Yes.
Second approving.
What'd you say about Esther?
Yeah, we're gonna review separately.
All right. Okay, but are we gonna ratify
consent
this
agenda,
right
We're
now?
gonna, this is,
Ratify the-
but item F, this is to ratify all of it except item F.
Okay, so.
Not just to ratify this and to approve all of it.
Except item F.
Yes.
We're gonna do it separately. Discuss. You can pull anything out you want for discussion.
Otherwise, it's not discussed.
What?
Otherwise, it's not discussed and passed with one motion.
Okay. We have items A, B, C, D, E, and G. Okay, so do I have a motion approving that? Is there a motion in a second?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion in a second approving those items of the consent agenda, A, B, C, D, E, and G. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes. And now we will review item F to ratify the agreement between the city and TISD Incorporated for use of 2 elevated storage tanks for placement of antennas to transmit internet services.
Yeah, I guess,
I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I guess it's I'm just curious about the value proposition here, and it seems like they're getting 2 antennas for not just city work, right? This is for them to use to generate revenue from whoever wants to use their services.
Yes.
yes.
Okay, and so in agreement, we're getting free Wi-Fi at the park. the
Yes.
RV park. So,
And to clarify,
okay,
prior to us redoing this agreement, they were leasing the George Tower for $500 a month.
okay,
So during the time we had the tower down, they moved their equipment over to Village Tower under that same contract. So now they want both towers, and they came to us with an agreement to provide internet and the equipment at the RV park in lieu of paying $1,000 a month. Which, if you figure all of the connections at the RV park, that's more than.
so when you set up internet in an RV park, it's by connection, it's not just.
Yeah, it'd be
a wide area network.
It'd be bandwidth based. So like, you're connected to the internet, if you're connected to the same link as your neighbor, then your bandwidth is split. If you want more bandwidth, then you've got to increase that.
So they're providing 15 gigabytes to every, or 10, whatever it was, to individually to each site. So 5,500 gigabytes, whatever the.
Yes.
And if they don't provide it, then they pay us 500 for 2 sites.
And being breach of your contract.
1,000 tower for it, yeah.
I don't know, I mean, it's a deal, I guess, but it's, seems like we're getting a little bit shafted on that deal.
So it was $1,000 a month that we could actually get, or is that $1,000 annually?
That's a lot.
No, it's
No, but
That's what it would have been.
1,000.
It's 500 a tower.
That's, I mean, just representing other cities, that's not out of line. I mean, it's free market. I've seen it less.
We reviewed this and re-reviewed this and re-reviewed this and final product that brought back.
So we're gonna hold them then to providing the internet at the RV park?
Yeah.
I'm actually, when I get back from my conference in June, meeting with them at the RV park, do a site visit to set holes.
So they're not gonna hold us to, like we decide to expand, which we're not, but say we wanted to expand and use more, they won't hold us to, okay, this is the set amount, we can expand.
So each RV then will just connect. They'll connect with
They'll be
PICD,
given-
no interface with that, they'll just.
Yeah, they'll be given a password on their, when they rent their site and.
So when you say they rent
the tower, do they use, our.
With all their equipment.
Is all there.
They install it, they take it from, we have nothing to do with it.
So explain to me.
Yes, we're all friends.
Like isn't it on the rail?
Yeah, some of it's on the rail, some of it. They clean over.
Oh, that's good, but, it's, I mean,
Because
it's
it's on their equipment.
I just look at our school, we have 100 connections going with YouTube and stuff, and it's $100 a month, so I'm trying to figure out, you know. Anyway, it just seems a little undervalued on our side, but.
Try it.
Well, I mean, this is,
It's an annual contract.
it's a 3-year contract. But if we,
And after 3 years, it renews annually.
but if we
Well,
can
if
if you don't think we're getting or due at the end of 3 years, we can negotiate, yeah.
Okay, I think we need to value on these 3 years, okay.
I kind of think we.
So somebody.
What,
to
what,
accept this for tonight.
So moved. Don't have enough information to make a good judgment about it, but I'll go with it. What the heck?
Can you second it?
No,
A second.
I'll wait for somebody else to second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve or to ratify the agreement between the city and PSD for use of the elevated storage tanks for maintenance and internet services. As presented, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. None opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
What's that? Do we have a closed session or do we need?
Yes,
No, we do.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Jody, stay in just for a little.
Okay, okay.